Hello guys, we are again back, Bibi and Hami, with another reaction video. This time is a reaction to this video inside the home, Germany vs USA.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what it's about, but we will see together with you guys. I think it's about the differences between Germany and America, and we will see. He's actually from Iran and I am from Germany. Originally, I have also lived in the US, so we'll see if we can relate.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever move to a different country, where you were born from? And did you had like a really big culture shock, different experience? Let us know in the comments.
Ooh, that's my favorite sitcom. Well, that's just unrealistic that the characters always just walk in through the front door. I mean, how can they open it without a key? Oh my god, now they're climbing through the air vents. Let's do that too, that's the best prank. Oh, wait. We're in Germany, we can't do that. Why, you ask? Well, because German houses and American houses are pretty different. Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. Today, I'm going to take you on a little tour through German and American homes. For those of you who don't know this,
they were twins, but it's just her. Like, it was her 2 times.
the very first time I ever came to the US was in 2010, so 10 years ago, and it was for a high school exchange between the sister cities of Munich and Cincinnati. Students from different high schools were selected to participate in this, and I got very lucky, and together with one other German girl, I stayed with an American family for 2 weeks.
We had this program too, but it was for 1 whole year, and it was all sponsored by this state of Germany. And you could like apply for it and have this whole thing, like you would be an ambassador for Germany going there and have a high school experience. And that's what I did. So that's super cool.
Here in Cincinnati. And when you arrive in a new country where you've never been before, after such a long flight, you're totally overwhelmed by the whole situation. But I do remember that I noticed a lot of differences about the house that first night. And since then, I've discovered many more things, of course. And I've been wanting to make a video about all of the differences on houses ever since I started this channel. But for some reason, I haven't yet. So here we go. I made a list of 13 things that I'll go through in this video, and of course, every house and apartment is different, both in Germany and the US, and people can design it however they want and install different features, but these are differences that you'll see when you compare the majority of German homes to the majority of American homes. Right when you enter the house, you'll notice a big difference, and that's the front door. In Germany, they're usually a lot thicker than in the US and have a seal that makes them more soundproof but also helps with insulation, and you'll find those seals at most doors inside the home as well in Germany. The front doors that I've seen in the US so far were rather thin compared to that and never had a seal. Also, and this is what I've mentioned in the intro, in Germany you won't find a doorknob or handle on the outside of the front door, so even if the door is unlocked, you won't be able to open it once it's shut unless you have the key. Which brings me to another point, and that is that most of the locks I've seen here are a little different from the standard locks in Germany. Where I live,
I know that Germany is really well known for its handcrafts, and like German locks are supposed to be one of the best, most safest and secure locks in the world. So yeah, I can imagine they're really different. I feel like, especially what I've seen in Florida in the last years from the houses they're building new, here it's a lot of times with bricks in Germany, and over there it's like they use like the cheapest things, the cheapest materials, and just build as fast as possible. And I mean, here they also try to be more cheap nowadays, but to a certain extent. And America has like, like it looks like their houses can be like taken away by a hurricane like this.
Yeah. I agree with you. I know, I live in Germany. I just saw everything about safety.
Oh, safety.
I know. I know it.
here in the US, we have this kind of lock at the front door, but also inside on bedroom doors. The key is a little smaller and thinner than the ones in Germany. And for German locks, you usually just turn it around once or several times, depending on the lock, and then just pull out the key like that. But in the US, I found that you have to turn the key back before you can pull it out. And then in Germany, since there's no doorknob, you turn the key a little further and push the door open at the same time, while in the
I don't like that. I think that's really annoying. I think they should just go like that.
US, you can just open it like a normal door once it's unlocked. At least that's how it is for most doors. I know that for some doors in the US, you can also switch it to being locked automatically once you close it. Then, after you've entered, you'll notice the next difference right away. In Germany, the first place you find yourself when you enter a house or an apartment is usually the Flur or Diele, the hallway or foyer. That's usually where you take off your shoes, which you should do in Germany, as I've mentioned in another video before, and from there you'll get to the different rooms. In the US, you enter the home right into the living room in most cases, so like you open the door and you're already in the living room. The Germans among you probably know this from American shows and movies, like if you just think of sitcoms like Full House or How I Met Your Mother or other sitcoms, there's never a hallway. Some places do have some kind of entrance area.
Sometimes they start off with carpet right away as well, which is like, and you do guys have a lot, well, like American guys have a lot more carpet in the house anyway, I would say, like.
Yeah, but it's usually more open than a German Flur. In general, German homes tend to be a little less open than American homes. The trend is going more towards open rooms, but traditionally, the hallway is its own room pretty much, with doors to all the other.
What do you prefer? I actually prefer the open rooms. I mean, it's harder to heat for sure, but I prefer that instead of many little rooms.
I don't have any idea. I don't know right now.
Okay.
Rooms, like the kitchen has its own door and is its own room, the living room is its own room, and so on. While in the US, it's pretty common that the kitchen, the living room, and the dining area, if there is one, are all open and pretty much one big room.
But you know, like this, the open one, like this, the big one. We had it in Iran too. I like it more.
The open one?
Yeah. The open one.
Me too. Me too.
Because looks very better, you know.
Yeah.
Now let's get to heating and cooling. In Germany, it's very uncommon for normal houses and apartments to have air conditioning. We do have it at stores, some office buildings, and definitely in our cars, but I don't think I've ever seen a German home with air conditioning. So how do we keep our places cool? Well, first of all, it doesn't get as hot and humid in Germany as it does in a lot of parts of the US, but in the summer, temperatures do go up to around 35 degrees Celsius. It's helpful that our walls are a lot thicker and better insulated than they are at a lot of American homes.
Yeah, true, because it's stone walls, like 85% of the times, they keep it very cool. Like in the summer, they keep it very cool, and they keep it warm in the winter when it's heated from the inside.
So the heat doesn't come inside as quickly, but besides that, we just suffer and use a combined strategy of fans, opening our windows at night, and we'll get to the famous German windows in a second, and closing the curtains and blinds during the day. In the US, however, it's very common for a place to have central air conditioning, which means that there's a thermostat somewhere and there will be these air vents that I mentioned in the intro, and through those, the cold air will be blown into the different rooms. And in the winter, it's simply hot air instead. So that's the cooling system and the heating system at the same time, which also means that you won't see these things in the US a lot. In Germany, that's the main way of heating. You'll usually find these radiators in every room with an individual temperature control. I've seen a few of these in American American homes as well, but as I said, when there's central AC with air vents, those are usually used for both heating and cooling. And places that don't have central AC often install these little window AC units. And I've mentioned a few times before that Germans often think that Americans totally overdo the whole AC game and that it's often way too cold. And I'm going to make a whole video addressing this. But yes, Germans just aren't a big fan of having air blown into their rooms, while Americans seem to not be able to live without that. And that brings me to the next point, and that
Amen. Like everything she said so far is so true in my experience as well. And she's
That's
representing Germany very well as well.
is ceiling fans. These are also pretty standard in the US, and I've never seen one in Germany, but I actually think they're awesome. Not every place in the US has these, but a lot of places do. They're usually connected to the ceiling light with their own on and off switch, and they just help make the air circulate a little when it's hot. I love this especially for working out at home, and you don't have to have an extra fan in your room. Get to windows. The famous German windows are very different to the ones you'll find in America, because here all you can do is slide your window up and down, and they usually have a second slide thing that's a bug screen, but that's really all you can do. And honestly, opening these windows doesn't get a lot of air inside. Like, I often open up both windows in my rooms and there's still no air circulation really. German windows, on the other hand, are perfect for that. Germans are also pretty obsessed with Stoßlüften, but German windows are perfect because they usually have 3 different modes. You can open them like a door, which lets a lot of air in. You can tilt them like this, which also lets some air in, or you can close them. And they also usually come with a seal, just like the doors, but they don't come with a bug screen, which Americans like to complain about, but you can always install one. Like, I always had one in front of my window as a kid. What a lot of German windows do come with, though, are outdoor blinds or shutters. They're built into the wall and you can close them from the inside like this. And not only do they darken the room almost entirely, but they also help with the insulation part. Super
They're kind of ugly, but they're very useful.
handy in my opinion. Sometimes they're also electric, like this one in my room, but at some windows you'll also just find regular indoor blinds or curtains like you do in the US. This one is a pretty big one in everyday life. American homes usually have built-in closets in the bedrooms. They can have different sizes, some of them are walk-in closets, but the least you'll see is usually something like this. So you'll have a door that looks just like a normal room door, and then there's shelves and a clothing rack inside, and they're not taking up any space in your actual room usually because they're built into the wall. This is usually one of the most shocking realizations for Americans, but those are not a thing in Germany. Our bedrooms are usually just empty rooms when we move in, no built-in closet, so you'll have to buy a wardrobe. A lot of them are just standalone pieces of furniture in your room, but some people also invest in a built-in wardrobe that's fitted exactly into your room. I used to have one of those in my bedroom in Germany under the roof. This is a small one, but when walking through the house, you'll notice that light switches are different as well. In the US, most light switches look like this, while in Germany, they're usually much bigger and are either one that you can tilt or that you can press. Also, doors in the US usually have door knobs throughout the house, while in Germany, we mainly have door handles. Some places in the US do have handles as well, but when they do, the handles usually feel very different than the ones in Germany, so it's not the same handles.
They kind of go like all the way through. It's really, really weird.
Okay, let's move into the bathroom. If you've seen my video about peeing differences, you know that I mentioned how different bathrooms are and that I'm going to dedicate a whole video to that topic. So I'll just mention a few things in this one. One big one is that in a lot of older homes in Germany, the bathroom light switch is on the outside of the bathroom. This used to be a safety regulation in Germany back in the day, and you'll still see this a lot, but it's super annoying really.
Especially with siblings. It's very annoying.
Not only because you'll have to remember to switch the light on before you go in, but also because people mess with you and turn the light off while you're inside. Now, inside the bathrooms, let's talk about showers for a second. In the US, most showers I've seen so far in homes, but also in hotels, and whether it's a bathtub with a shower or just a shower, have a fixed shower head. You can usually adjust the angle a little, but you can't move it, which, coming from Germany, I find super annoying because you can't get water to all parts of the tub or shower, which especially sucks if you want to clean it. In Germany, we usually have a handheld shower head that's detachable, which I personally just think is much more practical because you can take the water wherever you need it, basically, and if you don't want to get your hair wet, you can move it down quite a bit too. And then one other difference of many in the bathroom is the toilets. American toilets, in a lot of cases, not every toilet, but a lot of them, have a lot of water in the bowl, so it's very high, while in Germany it's usually really low. Some old German toilets also have a shelf like this in the toilet, which seems to be one of the most popular topics to talk about in the comments, but that's really not all that common anymore. And American toilets also usually have this old-fashioned toilet tank and a flushing lever like this. I've seen this even in pretty new homes, while in Germany we oftentimes have a button to flush, and lots of toilets have a big and a small one depending on how much water you need to flush. But also in modern German bathrooms you often don't even see the toilet tank anymore because it's built into the wall and all you see is a push button in the wall to flush. One last difference in the bathroom that I want to mention in this video is that I feel like even in newer bathrooms in the US, you hardly ever see just one faucet handle to control the temperature at the sink. They're called Mischbatterie in German and are very common in Germany, but in the US you usually have a separate hot water and cold water handle. So once again, it seems a little more old-fashioned than in Germany. Moving into the kitchen, one big difference.
But I can say I'm just 50-50.
Yeah.
Like kitchen, yeah, of course, USA, but like these things about
Shower, for example, is
yeah,
better
yes,
than in Germany.
toilet.
Is there something you were really surprised by in America because you haven't been there and you're like, what? They do it like that?
No.
No? Okay.
And you?
Well, I've seen it, so I...
Yeah, right.
Is the fridge. American fridges are usually much bigger than German ones, just like a lot of things are bigger in the US. A lot of them have a water and ice dispenser like this, and oftentimes they have a separate door for the freezer. Sometimes it's also just like a big thing on top of the fridge. German fridges usually don't have a dispenser like that. They're smaller and the freezer is either a little part inside the fridge or it's underneath it, and it usually comes with drawers, which I've only seen a couple of times in the US. One thing that I find super handy in the US is the garbage disposal. A lot of kitchens have one, and it's like a grinder built into the sink. I mean, I don't put waste in there on purpose, but if food leftovers have found their way into the drain and it's clogging up, I do find it practical that you can just turn on the garbage disposal and the problem is solved. And one more thing I want to mention about kitchens is
That is like super handy for sure. I wish we had that here too. You just have to be really careful with the child that they don't put their hands in there and like push the button because they will be very, very bad.
is the stove. In Germany, most stoves are regular electric stoves or induction stoves nowadays, which do exist in the US, but a lot of stoves here are either electric coil stoves or gas stoves. That's actually the most common one I've seen around here, and you hardly ever see that in Germany unless the owner is like a really passionate cook or it's a really old house. So that
Maybe that's why I think my family loves to cook, and on all our house we have gas stoves, but because electric like sucks. Like you can't cook with that now.
it's quite interesting. This one I just want to mention very briefly because in some German apartments you'll also find the washer in the kitchen, which is usually because there's no space anywhere else in the place. You'll also often find it in the bathroom, and especially in apartments there's oftentimes no dryer. That's because Germans mainly air dry their clothes, which is why you'll definitely see drying racks like these in German homes. Bigger places usually do have a dryer, but we don't use that for our regular clothes a lot, so laundry rooms usually always have drying racks or a clothesline rope set up. When I first moved here for a longer period of time, I was really confused to find a washer and dryer in most places, but zero space to hang up my clothes. But Americans simply don't do that as much as we do in Germany. One difference that you'll notice when you walk through a German or an American home is the floors. In American homes, you'll see a lot of carpet, which I love personally, and in a lot of cases, it's this pretty thick, fluffy carpet too. You don't see that in German houses a lot. Most homes don't have carpet at all. Instead, we have tiles and wooden floors typically, but even when Americans have wooden floors, they're usually different than they are in Germany, where parquet is one of the most common floors, or the cheaper, fake version laminate floor. In the US, the hardwood floors usually look a little different, like the structure is different and they're usually much darker than parquet floor, and from what I understand, they're also made differently. Overall, I found that Americans have a preference for darker wood in their floors and furniture, while Germans use lighter colored wood for a lot of that. And last but not least, let's talk about the exterior really quick. This varies a lot in Germany and the US, of course, but when it comes to apartments, one main difference is that in Germany, we always have our full name outside on the doorbell, the mailbox, and the actual apartment door, while in the US, it's usually just an apartment number, and that's part of your address. When it comes to houses, American houses often have the typical front yard and porch, and everything is very open, while in Germany, porches aren't really a thing, and we don't really have those big front yards either. Instead, you'll see a lot of fences and hedges in Germany. Things typically aren't really open like they are in the US, and overall, we just have a lot less space in Germany. And especially in a lot of German cities, housing and just space in general is pretty expensive, and people are glad to even have a balcony. A yard is really a dream come true, but then when they do have one, a lot of yards, especially in cities, are right next to the neighbor's yard. Just to give you an idea, in Munich, which is one of the most expensive cities in Germany, so keep that in mind, but in Munich, I can maybe buy a tiny studio apartment for the same price that I can buy a nice house here in Cincinnati with a yard and a porch and everything. Of course, it's like that in the big American...
100%.
Do you have something to say?
It's just crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, but I mean, I can 100% imagine that to be true, especially Cincinnati. It's not like Miami or something. But, oh my god. It's so
Yes,
sad.
this is truth, you know.
Also, Germans are way more private, like she said, like the everything, like fences, and this is mine, so don't come on my side of the lawn. Not that bad, but you know what I mean.
American cities as well, but the whole density thing and space as luxury is just a little more common in Germany. Of course, there are many more differences that I could have mentioned here, so if there's anything important that I missed, feel free to share that in the comments below, and I'd also like to know which of these features you'd like to have in your house or what you'd like to get rid of. For me personally, if I could build my own house and mix the features of both countries, I think I would definitely...
What just happened?
Nothing. Everything is good. I just said please let us know in comments too. What you guys like more?
Do you know it? Have you been to any of those countries? Are you from any of those countries? Oh, we're curious.
We have the German windows and doors, American central air and ceiling fans, German bathrooms, and I think the American setup with a porch and lots of space, and the carpet and the dark wood interior design, because I really like that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a little longer again after my random differences mini.
I feel like me and her are really much alike. So thank you so much for watching, guys.
Yes.
It's so nice to be back with you. And let us know if you also like these kind of videos and what else you would like to see. Give us a like, subscribe if you're not part of the family yet, and don't forget to hit the
Bam.
bell button. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.